All right. Everybody ready to get started? Hold on, we need to wait for Maria. Since she always does the invocation.
Yeah, we need her.
Mhm. Yes. We're just pausing 1 sec for our assistant city. Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, August 8th meeting of the Garden Grove City Council. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember Tran.
Here.
Councilmember Dovin.
Present.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Brightigam.
Here.
And Mayor Jones.
Here. All right, may I please ask Assistant City Manager Maria Steit to do the invocation, and then followed by Councilmember Dovin to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you. I'd like everybody to please stand and prepare yourselves according to your faith. Dear Lord, we ask for your guidance as we meet here tonight to conduct business on behalf of the city. Help us to keep in mind that we are here to serve the community and enable us to make decisions so that we may do what is best for all of the citizens of Garden Grove. Amen.
Please face the flag and handles our heart. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, that takes us to presentations. We do have a couple items listed. First is 1A, which is a community spotlight in recognition of Serena Nguyen, CEO of DTN Tech, for being selected by the U.S. Small Business Administration's Orange County/Inland Empire District Office as the 2023 Small Business Week District's Women-Owned Business.
Thank you. Thank you. This evening, the Garden Grove City Council would like to recognize the CEO and owner of DTN Tech, Serena Nguyen, for being selected as the 2023 Small Business District's Women-Owned Business of the Year. Would Serena Nguyen please come forward? Right up here at the podium, and then we'll say some nice things about you, and then maybe give you an opportunity to speak. So born in a refugee camp in the Philippines, Serena migrated to the United States with her family and found her home in Orange County, California. After obtaining her bachelor's degree in English from Loyola Marymount University, her husband and business partner, David, launched DTN Tech in 2006 with a focus on community service and social responsibility. DTN Tech, a promotional product, imprinted apparel, and print media company, has been in business for over 17 years. The company's success is due to Serena's commitment to serve before leading, her dedication to giving back to her local community, and the hardworking team that allows her to be a working mother to her 2 young children. Earlier this year, in honor of the 2023 Small Business Week, the U.S. Small Business Administration's Orange County Inland Empire District Office named Serena the District Woman-Owned Business of the Year. The United States Small Business Administration was created in 1953 as a cabinet-level federal agency to aid, counsel, and assist and protect the interests of small businesses. The Small Business Administration's National Small Business Week recognizes the significant contributions of America's entrepreneurs and small business owners to the U.S. economy. Today, DTN Tech is a highly admired by the community for continuing to deliver high-quality products at their extensive work with various local businesses, schools, nonprofit groups, government agencies, and more. As Serena looks into the future, she hopes that she and DTN Tech may continue providing a wide range of services while seeking further innovation. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present Serena with a certificate and memento of recognition for being selected as the 2023 Small Business Week District's Woman-Owned Business of the Year. So we now have Mayor Jones to present you with a certificate.
One, two, three. All right, thank you. 1, 2, 3.
Before I let Serena say anything, I think that there's another representative here from the United States Small Business Administration, Orange County Inland Empire District Office, Sylvia Gutierrez. Sylvia, if you could please come forward. Sylvia has joined us tonight and would like to also present Serena with an award for her achievements. So, Ms. Gutierrez, if you could just please come forward and present Serena with whatever you have for her.
Pleasure for me to be here today and having the opportunity to present the award in person for her outstanding contribution to the community and for running a successful business and for being a real testimony for this award, the Woman-Owned Business of the Year. And so we congratulate you and enjoy this amazing award.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, Serena, and if you'd like to say anything, please.
I don't have anything crazy, but I just want to let you know that I've been living here for 18 years, and we live here. Our kids go to school in GGUSD. Our businesses in all 17 years has remained in Garden Grove, and we are just proud Garden Grove people. We love it here. We have tried to move. I tell Lisa all the time, I try to move out, but nobody wants me. But you know what? I think, it's crazy, fate will have it. We have tried to buy homes in other cities. We've tried to buy buildings in other cities, but it just works out that, we stay here in Garden Grove and because we love the city. We truly love the city, and we're so appreciative and grateful for all the opportunities that are here for our family, our kids, and if you ask our kids, they are Gigi for life. They just want to stay here. They're like, Mommy, we don't want to move. Even if you move to Huntington Beach, we're still going to go to school in Garden Grove. So, they're in Dawson. He's going to Ralston starting 7th grade next year. We just registered him for school today. And then we have Delina. She's going to Peters for 6th. So it's right around the corner from our office. And we're here. We invest back in the city, and we hope that, we continue this for a long time to come.
Can you introduce the rest of your family?
Yes, I have my mom here. She's been a pillar of our business from the beginning, she takes care of our kids and she took care of our kids and, helped us build up our business coming out, helping us do all the little things in our early days. And my dad can't be here, but she's here, so she represents our entire family. And then my husband is here. He is actually one of the big part of the business. So, yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. Congratulations. All right. Item 1B is a drowning prevention presentation from Orange County Fire Authority Division Chief, Chief Covey.
Thank you, Mayor Jones and Council. Pretty tough act to follow the Woman of the Year here, but thank you for taking some time tonight in your valuable program to speak on something that's really important to me, and that's water safety. So a couple quick questions. How many of us have children? Okay. How many of you would do anything you can to keep those children safe? So as I go through this presentation, will you just kind of think about those two questions? And there's some sobering stuff in this that will drive it home. My 33 years of first responder, I've been on too many drownings. And they all have one thing in common, right? And that is they're preventable. Okay, the sounds, my fellow first responders that you see here in the room, the sounds of anguish and pain that you see at these events is something you wish to never hear again in your life. So please take that kind of thought into this message. It's super important. It's all preventable. So what is drowning? Let me show you a quick video here. Okay, hang on one second. Okay, it doesn't want to play, of course. Go back one more. Okay, well, this is a video that went viral recently, and it's gut-wrenching to watch. If you can kind of see blurry there in the bottom right corner, there's a little toddler, and he's got a bodysuit on that's it's a life preserver-like bodysuit, and you watch him take it off and walk over to the water and sit down. There's another child on the other side of the pool there, and you just watch this thing unfold, and the kid just leans over and falls right in the pool. And the next thing you see is the dad comes sliding across the concrete, assuredly leaving some skin, as he grabs the kid and pulls the kid out, and it saves him. And the thing to note there, it's blurry, but you look there, that was a firefighter and his family that this happened to. So if it can happen to a firefighter and a family, it can happen to anybody, and we really want to get the message out about that. So what is a drowning? So drownings comes as two classifications, fatal and non-fatal. We hear frequently about the fatal ones, but the non-fatal happens, according to CDC, about 5 times to every fatal drowning. And in those 5 drownings that aren't fatal, most of them are very life-changing, horrible damage to the person. Okay, so they just become gravely disabled. So you got to understand that it's way more than just the drownings that you hear about. So when it comes to risk factors, the thing that you need to understand is drowning is not discriminatory. Pools are not discriminatory. So all those things come into a factor, but some alarming things that come out is that according to USA Swimming, 50% of the kids this summer will be in water. Okay, but yet 90% of them don't know how to swim. Okay, so why are we taking those risks? So last year we had 111 drownings in the county. You can see it kind of varies quite a bit with age and everything else, but it's not limited to just little kids. I mean, it goes all the way up to 65 and older. We had older ones. In June of this year, we had a 75-year-old male drown in Seal Beach and die. Since then, we've had numerous drownings. Matter of fact, Garden Grove just had one on Monday. Thankfully, the 12-year-old survived. So it continues to happen. We've had, I don't know what our number is year to date already, but it is clearly double digit. In total incidents per year, we average about 60 to 120. You can see here in the last 13, 14 years. Of that, about 30 to 50 are fatal. So in 2022, this is a breakdown of statistically what occurred. And if you look at that, 89% of them are in oceans and pools. So why would you think that that would be the case, such a high percentage? That's distractions. Okay, when you get tasked with watching the water, that is your task. When we talked about that, one of those questions you answered earlier, would you do anything to keep your kids safe? Watching the water is one of them. Limit your distractions. Time's important. We all know this. You can see here in this chart, as quickly as 4 to 5 minutes, you're having irreversible brain damage. So it doesn't take long. And when it's a silent incident, you don't even know they're underwater and how quickly that damage is occurring. So we've talked about what drowning is and some stats. So let's talk about how we prevent it. And when we think about the ABCs in first responder world, normally it's with CPR for airway breathing and circulation, but we're also tying it into the water safety, and that's active adult supervision, barriers, and classes. So with active adult supervision, that's what I was talking about. 88% of the drownings had supervision. But again, you fall into those distractions. Okay, and when you get more children in the pool, that means more adults watching. And then if you're worried about distractions, rotate them. Don't have one person watching them the whole time. Rotate them so that they know their next 15, 20-minute window, that's their responsibility, is to watch the kids. Barriers. So in 2017, the Assembly Bill 442 was put into act, and it's the Pool Safety Act. Okay, and I'm going to read you verbatim what is required, whether it's a current pool or a pool that's being built. 1, you need 2 of these 7 requirements at a minimum. An enclosure that isolates the pool or spa from the home. 2, removable mesh fencing in conjunction with a self-latching, self-closing gate. 3, an approved safety cover. 4, exit alarms at the home's door that provides direct access to the pool, so the alarm will go off when that door is opened. 5, a self-closing, self-latching device with a release mechanism placed at least 54 inches above the ground so that it's above the average small kid. 6, an alarm placed on the pool or spa that sounds upon detection of an accidental entry into the water. Or 7, anything that's equal or greater to that. You need at least 2 of those according to the 2017 law. So lastly, we talk about classes. Again, we talk about youth. 1 in 4 know how to swim. Okay, and then when the parents don't know how to swim, that means only 18% of the children know how to swim. They're not reinforcing that, moving it forward. So swim lessons are super important. Lifeguards are giving out classes. There's plenty of classes all over the place that will give you that opportunity. When you swim near a lifeguard, by the way, it's 1 in 16 million chance of drowning. So because that's a non-distracted adult watching. Going back to pool safety, there is no such thing as a safe pool, okay? So when they talk about pools, you're supposed to be at least 6 inches taller than the depth that you're in for a safe environment. So when you think about a 4.5-foot pool, most of us would think that's not very deep and that's a safe pool. The average 12-year-old, that is unsafe. Drain safety, you got to remember at the bottom of where those drains and the water's going through and flowing through the system to keep the pool clean and all that. Keep your children's hair tied back and things like that, and make sure you have good proper drain covers to prevent entanglement into the drains. Flotation devices matter. If I can leave you with a quote tonight that you will remember, life vests equal love. If you don't have one, you don't know how to swim, use it. It's just the right thing to do. Life jackets equals love. So in additional water sources, all these different things are different ways people are drowning. It's sad to say that California ranks 3rd in America for boating deaths in the United States. So out of that, 79% of them were drowning, and 85% of those didn't have life jackets on. Life jackets equal love. So when you talk about drowning myth is what you see in Hollywood on TV where, the lifeguard is running out to the person screaming for help. But the reality is it's a silent killer. People are just trying to struggle to stay above the water. They're not making a lot of noises. You have to recognize that it's not what you see on TV. It's the reality of what happens. It's a silent killer. Here's the top 10 safety tips that we recommend. We do share this with the cities for them to put on your social media sites. Again, I'll remind you that swimming around lifeguards or an adult that's not distracted is probably one of the best ways. The number one thing is learn how to swim. Fast, silent, preventable. It's an equalizer. No such thing as a safe pool. I'm not sure if this is going to play or not. It doesn't look like it. something, we lost it in our translation here. So this media message is available at ocfa.org. We have shared these with the cities. This is a really good video, as well as we have handouts as you see here. And if I can leave you with 4 things to remember tonight, to answer those 2 questions that you talked about when you first said yes at the beginning of this. 1, drowning's preventable. 2, it's limit your distractions. 3, learn how to swim. And then the last one is life jackets equal love. Thank you for your time. I'm available to any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Did you say you have a question? Okay. All right, we'll move on. Next is oral communications. We do have a number of cards, so we'll go ahead and dive right in. Okay, starting with Ruby Garcia. Is Ruby here?
Good evening, Mayor Jones, City Council members, and City Manager Kim and City staff. My name is Ruby, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Andy and Aiden Safety Group. And I'm here to invite all of you guys and also the community to our 2nd annual Communities Come Together of Garden Grove. And what we do is we work and partner with Garden Grove PD and show special needs families how to practice safety in the community, whether it's calling 911, crossing the street, and now in season, you know, the good and bad candy. And we hold this event at the CMC Center, and this will be on September 13th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 11300 Stanford Avenue in Garden Grove. And we invite everyone to come. If we can get some RSVP so we can ensure we have enough supplies, please call 714-856-4914, or this flyer that I will be leaving also has a QR code to link up to our RSVP document, and we hope to see everybody there. You wanna come on? Here, Andy, this one is
Join us September 13th from 5 to 7.
Thank you, guys.
Join us September 13th.
Yeah, they said September.
Miriam Delaware.
Hello, Honorable Mayor and Council members. I'm Miriam Delaware. I'm going into 10th grade and doing dual enrollment at Fullerton College. I have lived in Garden Grove's 2nd District my entire life, and I'm here today as Hub Coordinator of the Sunrise Movement's Orange County Hub. The Sunrise Movement is a national environmental organization that is run by youth who are under the age of 35, like myself. I'm here today to ask the City Council to prioritize climate action in the city. The climate crisis is urgent, and we need to start acting upon it with bold legislation, and we need it now. This could be in the form of a climate action plan, of a climate action adaptation plan. Several cities in Orange County have already introduced these, such as the city of Irvine. A climate action adaptation plan, or a CAP, would create a pathway for the city to reach zero carbon emissions by a certain year, preferably by 2030. It would include a mobility plan to get a certain percentage of people out of their personal cars and onto green public transportation, bikes, or just walking places. A CAP would include something for building electrification, so buildings that are dependent on fossil fuels, such as my own home, would be able to switch over to electrical appliances. It could also include something that would update the city's infrastructure to make Garden Grove a more sustainable, safe, and beautiful city to live in. As we know, a huge problem in the city is homelessness. It is extremely unfortunate how many are unhoused and sleeping on the streets as we're here right now. The state does have its Regional Housing Needs Assessment, RHNA, that mandates cities to increase the amount of housing units within each jurisdiction. One way that the city can address this through a climate action adaptation plan is by changing land use and increasing housing density so that we can achieve the RHNA goals, lower the homeless population, create so many more jobs, and save energy. I am literally watching my future burn. Because of the climate crisis, July 2023 was the hottest month on record. The country experienced so many devastating heat waves that ruined entire ecosystems. More than 1 million species are at risk of going extinct. Antarctica is losing 151 billion tons of ice per year. The homes of over 200 million people will be below sea level in about 70 years. We'll lose about 90% of our coral reefs. The list goes on and on. That's why we're all here asking that Garden Grove, the 5th largest city in the county, support a climate action and adaptation plan and do its part in solving climate change. Sunrise Movement OC wants to be a resource and we want to help. Just let us know what you need. Thank you.
Cecilia Frankenfeld.
Good evening. My name is Cecilia Frankenfeld. I'm here with Sunrise Movement, asking Garden Grove, as Miriam mentioned, to adopt a climate action and adaptation plan. I have dual bachelor's degrees from UCSD in philosophy and biology, and every single class we learned about the devastating effects of climate change and mass extinction and ocean acidification and rising sea levels. I'm 24 years old. I'm just beginning my career. I'm newly engaged to my high school sweetheart. I'm just starting my life. And I'm seriously terrified of climate change. And it feels like there's very little that I can do. I don't make enough money to afford an electric car. I don't make enough money to afford solar panels. So I'm asking the city to do something on my behalf, on my family's behalf, on the planet's behalf. Yeah, we desperately need to stop burning fossil fuels. All of the science is pointing in that direction. We're here because Garden Grove hasn't done much with climate, and we'd like to get that started. Thank you for your time.
Lisa Bonderchuk.
Good evening, council members and mayor. My name is Lisa Bonderchuk, and I'm a part of the Sunrise Movement. Local governments hold immense power, and Garden Grove can set an example for others. A climate action plan binding us to achieve with less harmful emission by 2030 is crucial. It is less important to think about Garden Grove's, it's important to think about Garden Grove's communities such as the children, elderly, and people with the weak immune systems, because transportation is a major contribution to emissions, including methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide. It's important to focus on efficient public transit, safe biking, and walking instead of cars. As well, mixed-use land and zoning policies can create vibrant communities, reducing our car dependency. An implementation plan and annual monitoring are essential for transparency and accountability. As well, homelessness and promoting affordable housing isn't just about providing shelter. It's a critical part of our climate action efforts too. By creating more sustainable, energy efficient housing options, we can reduce overall environmental impact while ensuring everyone has a safe place to call home. I would also like you guys to consider Orange County Power Authority for cleaner energy options. And also, let's remember that we're not here for ourselves, but for our families and the generations are there to come after us. By taking action now, we can pay for a healthier city and a brighter future. Thank you.
Lexi Hernandez.
Hello. Hi, Honorable Mayor Jones and Council. My name is Lexi Hernandez, and I am from Climate Action Campaign, a local climate policy nonprofit in the region. I'm here tonight to urge you, like so many others, to prioritize health, climate safety, and the resilience of the community. You all care deeply about the community, and one way to protect the community now and for generations to come is by creating an equitable, effective, and CEQA-qualified climate action plan. This plan is a roadmap to reduce climate pollution and creates a more resilient community by addressing climate impacts in the city. Allocating funds to work on a climate action plan and directing staff to begin work is crucial to address the climate crisis now. We need action because community members already feel the impacts of climate change. Though they may not use the words climate change, when community members tell you that they worry about heat during the summer, their AC bill, and being able to stay cool, this is all climate concern, and it will only get worse if we do not act now. A recent study from the First Street Foundation found that Orange County will have the largest impact from climate-related heat waves and will suffer the most from an increase in number of hot days. This means that heat waves will be longer and more frequent. In 2006, during one of the last major heat waves that we have health data for from SCAG, at least 140 California residents died following the prolonged record-breaking heat wave. We know now, especially this summer, that heat waves are just becoming more frequent. Folks who work outside, children, and the elderly are most at risk for heat-related illnesses, and no one deserves to lose a loved one because of extreme heat. Another climate impact we can see in the community is from pollution. Many communities in Garden Grove have been identified as experiencing environmental injustice, meaning they experience a disproportionate amount of climate pollution and suffer health consequences because of it. For example, for the census tract that we are currently in, according to the Cal Enviro Screen 4.0, which is maintained by the EPA, the community is in the 73rd percentile for pollution burden. This means that community members here, right around us, are experiencing 73% more pollution than all other communities in California. This is ridiculous, and this is not what our community members deserve. And tied to that, the community also has 52% of the community has asthma, and 69% have cardiovascular disease, which is directly tied to exposure to pollution and also worsened by pollution. If we want to protect the children and all community members of Garden Grove, we need to prioritize a climate action plan. You will be in good company as you begin this process, as the City of Santa Ana recently began their climate action plan, and the City of Costa Mesa just a few weeks ago decided to begin their climate action plan as well. Having a climate action plan will allow you all to be able to apply for and be competitive for the billions of dollars in state and federal funding that's going to be coming out as well. So we look forward to continuing to work with you and offer ourselves Climate Action Campaign as a resource for you all as you hopefully begin this journey very soon and have an agendized discussion for a climate action plan. Thank you.
Yusuf?
Good evening, Mayor Jones and City Council. My name is Yusuf. I'm with Sunrise Movement OC. Climate change is an existential threat to humanity that my generation will have to suffer the consequences for and will lead to mass human suffering if we do not respond to it with the seriousness it deserves. In order to ensure Garden Grove does not contribute to this ongoing catastrophe, I am here to please ask you to start the development of a climate action adaptation plan. The largest source of emissions in most cities is transportation. In order to alleviate greenhouse gas emissions, we will need to find ways to move away from a car-dependent transportation model and achieve multimodality. Research is overwhelmingly conclusive that electric cars are not sufficient to alleviate the climate crisis, and we need to have significant shift in how our citizens get around town. In your CAP, please consider the implementation of protected bike lanes in order to provide a comfortable place for Garden Grove residents on roads to cycle. There is lots of research that points to protected bike lanes leading to more people opting out of their cars and into bikes, with the benefits of not only reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but reducing traffic congestion and increasing social cohesion. Additionally, a 13-year study found that protected bike lanes led to drastic decline in fatalities for all road users, including vehicles. Some cities, such as Santa Ana and Costa Mesa, have already started implementing this type of infrastructure. Garden Grove's roads are currently very hostile to anyone outside of a car, with most roads lacking even Class 2 painted bike lanes. Garden Grove recently hosted an open streets event, which is extremely commendable. Please continue your commitment to active transportation and pursue an ambitious approach to creating a comfortable and reliable cycling infrastructure network. Also, part of your CAP, please set modal share targets for goals of walking, cycling, and transit and telecommunicating by a certain date, preferably 2030. Modal share targets are a measurable deliverable and are extremely helpful in measuring the city's progress on reducing transportation emissions. Many cities who have developed a climate action and adaptation plan have done exactly this and are seeing measurable results. In order to achieve this, Garden Grove should set forward proposals to accomplish this in a mobility plan that other cities have done. Thank you for your attention, and again, I ask you to please start the development of a climate action and adaptation plan.
Alejandro?
Hello, Council. I'm also here asking for a climate action adaptation plan today. So really, a climate action adaptation plan is just a list of common sense policy that would set the city on course to modernize its infrastructure and align with climate and emission goals. One thing we could do is join the OCPA or a community choice aggregator and make sure that our grid is on 100% renewable energy. So when you drive your electric vehicle, it's actually clean. It's not being run off of electricity produced by coal or by natural gas. We can improve bike lanes. So I actually live off of Euclid here, although my second home is Finn Smith on Main Street. I love that place. And sometimes when I go off 9th Street here, it's kind of dangerous because it's just 2 lanes and it's a bunch of parked cars. And sometimes I'm biking where the parked cars are, and there's a car coming and I'm trying to go around. So it's a little dangerous for me to bike. So sometimes I just don't bike. So that's one thing we can improve. I know we have the Open Cities event. Even downtown, here the Main Street here is a good example of when we close down a street, it turns into a nice area for people to walk. We've started using part of the street for outdoor seating, especially if you go on Sundays, it's full of people. It's a beautiful area to be in. Another thing we could do is, protected intersections. So when you're gonna cross the street, you're protected. The intersection sticks out a little bit. Again, I don't wanna bore you with the details now, but just some examples of things we could do. Another thing that is really important, though, is reducing our methane gas use in our homes. So I go to school at Johns Hopkins, and I've been researching a little bit, or looking into the research for the health implications of gas stoves. And a lot of the research is pointing towards it being just as dangerous as secondhand smoke. So we really need to move away from using these sorts of stoves, just like when we moved away from using leaded paint in our homes or asbestos. And it's really reducing people's health expectancy. So if you're a restaurant worker and you're around these fumes all the time, you're actually losing years off your life, which could be the difference between like seeing your grandkids graduate from college or not. And finally, I think we really should be moving towards electrification of all municipal buildings. I know the fire station, the police station have solar panels. Maybe we could add it to all municipal buildings and then make sure we're not using gas. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're really just asking you to agendize an item, and we can all begin to talk about how we can make some of these changes to the city. Thank you.
Tyler?
The time is, okay, thank you. Good evening, council members and Mayor of Garden Grove. My name is Kyler Chin. I'm the director of Sunrise Movement Orange County and a UC Irvine student. Miriam led and planned all of this as a middle schooler because she cares about the climate crisis and her future here in Garden Grove. We're here to urge the Garden Grove municipal government to create a climate action and adaptation plan. According to the California Environmental Protection Agency, Garden Grove residents reside in census tracts that are sometimes in the 90th percentile of pollution burden. So while the median is roughly the 73rd, we do have communities here that are suffering close to the 90th percentile. So as a result, many Garden Grove residents are dealing with things like high AC bills due to heat waves, and we're going to see more cases of heat stroke and other heat-related illnesses in our emergency rooms, which is very concerning. So Garden Grove should work with sister cities across Orange County to tackle the climate crisis, improve living standards for Garden Grove's young generation, create economic growth for small businesses, and lower the pollution burden on residents. A climate action and adaptation plan is a powerful tool for the city because it makes the city eligible for unprecedented levels of climate funding in the state and federal governments. This money can be used to provide better services and infrastructure, such as bike and bus infrastructure for residents. It can cut emissions, decrease pollution, and allow kids to take the bus to school instead of being driven, and it gives more families options to go work, play, and shop. Funds can also be used for planting trees or improving green spaces. They can also be used to improve Garden Grove's aging infrastructure due to the increased burden of heat waves and other climate-related impacts. Other actions can be also taken to cut emissions and lower costs for Garden Grove residents, such as joining the Orange County Power Authority, along with Buena Park, Fullerton, Huntington Beach, and Irvine. With more cities in the Orange County Power Authority, Garden Grove residents can have more choice in where their electricity comes from, including 100% renewable energy. Orange County Power Authority also reinvests its money into local communities like Garden Grove. Currently, the OCPA offers a rate that's 38% renewable and it's 2% cheaper than Southern California Edison. A climate action plan also addresses other urban planning needs, such as reducing traffic by increasing housing density, creating mixed-use development, and creating more car-free spaces. Lowering emissions creates additional job benefits, such as increasing the number of local jobs for renewable energy and infrastructure construction. Good union jobs that would lift thousands of Garden Grove residents out of poverty. Please make a climate action and adaptation plan for Garden Grove residents. Thank you.
Anne or Ein? Anne? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Good evening, Mayor and council members and staff. My name is Ein Creation. I'm the Orange County Policy Director with Climate Action Campaign. We're a nonprofit climate policy watchdog here in Orange County. We want to thank the council for making Garden Grove a safe and wonderful place to live for so many people. Earlier this year, Climate Action Campaign published our first Climate Action Plan report card for Orange County cities, which did find that Garden Grove was one of the Orange County cities that does not currently have a climate action plan. So we would love to see Garden Grove join the ranks of those that do. Since then, many other cities have started to move forward, including Costa Mesa, Irvine, Santa Ana, as was mentioned. And so this is very important because, as was also mentioned, the state and federal governments have recently released billions of dollars and are continuing to release billions of dollars in funding that will be given and awarded to cities that have climate action plans to implement their plans. So cities that do not have plans will get missed out on for this funding. We know that the city recently was a recipient, hopefully if you filled out the paperwork, for about $200,000 in Department of Energy formula funding. And so this is just the beginning, though. There is much, much more funding that is going to be coming out of a regional climate action plan, out of the Los Angeles area that Orange County is included in, and many other opportunities as well. So we would request that the council please agendize a CAP discussion to begin with, and direct staff to begin work on a CAP, or begin looking for a consultant to develop a CAP and provide the community with a timeline for when CAP development will begin. This provides important transparency, though we know surely the city is doing other things perhaps related to sustainability. It's very important for the community to be able to identify in one place all the things that are being done on their behalf in order to protect their lives and their future. And so we know that the city is beginning to do outreach related to the housing element update, so it's great to see transparency and community outreach on that. So we just encourage you to approach the CAP with the same approach. Thank you.
Thank you. Tomas Castro.
Good evening, Council. My name is Tomas Castro, and I'm the co-lead of the Central OC chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby, as well as the director of the OC Climate Voter Guide. And I'm here to ask that you begin drafting and implementing a climate action plan for Garden Grove. Climate change is not so far off as we think, and families like mine are already feeling the impacts right here in OC. 3 years ago, the Silverado fire nearly forced my family to evacuate from our home due to the strong fumes that made it almost impossible to breathe in our own neighborhood. Fires like these will only become more frequent if cities don't do their part to reduce emissions and repair environmental injustices. That is why I and my friends here behind me are asking for a legally binding climate action plan that includes such measures as mode share targets, an annual monitoring report, and participation in the OC Power Authority. Other cities like Irvine are already crafting climate plans to adapt to a changing future, and I ask that Garden Grove do the same. Thank you.
Mr. Manuel Pineda.
President, good evening, women and gentlemen. I'm here to sit there, speak off agenda regarding my wife's passing here in 2016 here in the city of Garden Grove at the Garden Grove Hospital. Make a long story short, Orange County Coroner's Office was withholding documents since 2016. How she got to the Garden Grove Hospital is, I would like to know. And see how we can get somebody to look at the cameras. I didn't ID her. Came to Garden Grove to sit there and ask for help to make missing people's report. I didn't ID her at the coroner's office or before she supposedly got cremated. Hopefully Garden Grove could help me get the receipts to who paid for her ashes in her storage. Still holding on to that document. Still need it. Case number 16-00384- S is in Stephanie, G is in Gabriel. The mortuary, that's the coroner's office case number. The facility where they took her to in LA, that's a facility license number FD869. That's out there in Montebello. I've been asked for receiving and process paperwork, there's nothing. Hopefully we can get Garden Grove to sit there and go to that hospital and see what the cameras, see what happened. See, really ugly. And going to Garden Grove Police Department for help and not getting it under Orange County, asking for help stop the trafficking of humans in Orange County, that's one big injunction. When somebody goes to the police department, whether it's a runaway, missing persons, kidnapped, we take it serious. Like it's some kind of traffic of some sort of human, something going on wrong. And when somebody goes to that police department, we need to make a missing persons report or something is not right. Not to get threatened and beat up. But again, holding documents, evidence since 2016, Orange County Sheriff's Department, from the Garden Grove Hospital to Santa Ana to LA, paperwork's no good. No good. Where's her body?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nicholas Dibbs.
Mayor Jones, members of the council, I have to hand it to the young people behind me. I've been echoing some of what you've been saying for a while. I'm going to start off with the trees. We need to put more garden in Garden Grove. I said that a couple years ago. Put more garden in Garden Grove. We need more trees. The Medal of Honor Trail has very few trees. You have room for more trees. Now, I put in the email recently, why can't people donate and name a tree after a loved one? Name a bench after a loved one. We need more trees in this city. And I'm going to ask the council, I've sent an email to Lisa Kim and the planning manager saying approve ADUs to go on second stories so that we don't have an imprint on the backyards. We can keep the plants and the bushes and the grass. So allow a second story ADU. That way we don't impact the environment by taking more land. We just build up and maintain our greenery. So we do need more trees in the city. The heat index has gone up. I've been saying this stuff, but then when other people show up, hopefully you pay attention. We need more bike lanes like they have in Long Beach, dedicated bike lanes, safe route to schools, and encouraging people to walk and so on, and get into the renewable energy. So I do support what they said about the climate action and adaptation plan and campaign. We need more of that. But I'm also here because of the crisis in mental health. You passed a resolution the end of April proclaiming May as Mental Health Awareness Month. We need to do more on that front. if you haven't noticed, there's been major problems. Temecula Unified School District, I'm a teacher, some of you know. Temecula Unified has joined over 500 other public school districts across our state and nation to go after the social media companies for the harm that's being done to the young people. What's that have to do with Garden Grove? What we need to do is engage the teens, the young people, and the adults. It's a combination, and the school district can't do it on its own, and neither can the city. We all have to work together. So we need to get the word out of the harmful effects of social media to the youth. I have a website because, you know, neither you folks or the school district want to do this, so I did it myself. Go to dibsdigitalwellness.org, and there's all kinds of resources from the U.S. Surgeon General and from all kinds of experts about this, the harmful effects of blue light and social media. DIBS, D-I-B-S, digitalwellness.org. I've said this to the school district and to you folks. There needs to be these resources posted on the city website and to get it out. But however it happens, we all need to work together to address and 5 states have passed a law saying that parents should regulate the amount of time young people spend on social media. Thank you for listening, and let's support what they're trying to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's all the cards we have for oral communications, so we will close oral communications and we'll recess to successor agency. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Member Brightigam?
Here.
Member Tran?
Here.
Member Dovin?
Present.
Member Klopfenstein?
Here.
Member Nguyen?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Neill?
Here.
And Chair Jones.
Here. All right, we already did oral communication simultaneously with City Council. Consent items, just receive and file the minutes. Can I get a motion in a second? Call to vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Any matters from successor agency members? Seeing none, we will adjourn. And before we restart City Council and go on to consent, why don't we take a quick break? Let's reconvene and plow through this. Okay. All right, we're going to reconvene and we'll take us to consent calendar. Recommended that 3A through 3G be acted on simultaneously. If I can get a motion.
Move to approve. I'll second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All righty, commission committee matters, appointments to commissions, starting with Parks and Rec.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, the selection for the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission is Ariana Arestegui. This is an action item. I would like to have a motion.
I will make the motion. I will second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
And then Traffic Commission.
I need to cut this one.
Wait.
Okay. I know. I'm kind of. So tonight, the selection for the Traffic Commission is Mr. James Webb, and I need a motion.
Second. Motion, or moved, I'm sorry. I thought you made the motion.
Second?
Second. I'd like to make a comment before we vote, if possible. I am not supportive of the candidate for traffic. I think we have seen behaviors exhibited by this individual that are unbecoming of a representative of Garden Grove, and I've heard more than one council member on this dais make comments to that effect, so I'm a little astounded at the fact that this is a nominee from the majority of this council. And so I will not be supporting this candidate for Traffic Commission, and I urge all of you who are going this way to reconsider that.
I'll make a quick comment. The last vote I abstained, and I will abstain this vote also.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, call the vote.
Yes.
No, that's the
Yeah,
second
that's-
one. We already
that's
did
second
the
one,
first
yeah.
one, I think, and it's because another
Yeah,
one
but she
popped
did
up,
the
right?
first traffic one and the thing came up.
No, that was on Parks and Rec. My vote says vote traffic, so I'm assuming this is for traffic.
I added it.
I don't, okay.
Okay.
It hadn't come up on my screen yet then.
All right. So motion received. There are 4 yes votes. George, you're showing an abstain.
Yeah,
is
that was when you first put it up before we had a name.
Okay.
I closed it out
Okay.
because I figured you'd send it again.
Okay, let me redo.
All right.
Let's try this again.
Oh, this one says Parks.
Okay, let me add it.
There we go.
Okay, so the motion has been received, and we have 4 yes votes, with Councilmember Dovin abstaining, and Councilmember Klopfenstein and Councilmember Nguyen voting no. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay. Let's do a roll call vote, shall we?
Yeah.
Which one is this for?
This is for traffic.
For Jimmy.
Okay.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Tran?
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin?
Abstain.
Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Brigham?
Yes.
And Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Motion received. 5 yes votes, with Councilmember Dovin abstaining and Councilmember Kim Nguyen voting no.
Oops. All right, next is 4B. This is something that I agendized and brought up. I actually currently serve as the primary seat for the Orange County Sanitation District. John O'Neill serves as the alternate. I make 90% of the meetings, but from time to time I can't make it. I think John has a standing meeting on.
Well, I think, yeah, I know some of the meetings I could make was the committee that you were on, which was its following week, right? It wasn't the general meeting.
They're all on Wednesday evenings.
Fourth Wednesday?
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah.
It
Anyways.
was the operations committee that was on the ones that were a problem for me.
I don't remember which is which, but I think it's usually 2 meetings a month on Wednesday evenings and that kind of stuff. I don't know if you can do them now or that kind of thing, but it's just from time to time I can't make it. So I had reached out to Stephanie and checked her availability, and she was interested in doing it and sort of it, just to kind of get some.
I'll move to approve Stephanie being the
Okay.
Whoops. If I can remain the alternate. Okay.
Great.
I have a question. If John's unable to attend, why is he the alternate?
I am able to attend, but it was a committee. When you get on the board, there's different committees. The mayor chose a certain committee, and
I'm on the board and then operations.
Yeah, I can make the board meeting, no problem. The specific operations, if you're still on that was the one that in the last year, a couple of those meetings, I wasn't able to make it. But
got it. Yeah. Anyways, just so long as that we have it covered, and I don't mind bowing out of it as I'm kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I attended quite a bit. Before the pandemic, or I think it was before the pandemic, we traded off quite a bit. And
Yeah.
then the pandemic were virtual, so the mayor was able to do 100%.
I like that part.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Call the vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right. Items for consideration. We have 2 listed.
Item 5A is approval of the appropriation of asset forfeiture funds for allocation to the fiscal year 2023-24 Police Department budget, and the chief is here to give that report.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, council members. The objective is to obtain city council approval to appropriate $250,000 in asset forfeiture fund balance and allocate those funds towards the fiscal year 23-24 Police Department budget. When assets are seized as a result of criminal activities, they're forfeited through legal proceedings and shared with cooperating law enforcement agencies to supplement and enhance police agencies' resources. Our police department is looking for the council to approve those asset forfeiture funds following our biennial budget for confirmed disbursement of those funds. According to the department, we would like to use these asset forfeiture funds for certain items that were not included in the current biennial budget. The requested additional appropriation of $250,000 will be utilized for the Performa Labs training software, which are training videos that cover a variety of topics, including de-escalation and use of force scenarios, as well as other enhancement to police field operations. The financial impact will be no burden on our general fund. We are recommending that the City Council approve the asset forfeiture funds in the amount of $250,000 and allocate those funds for fiscal year 23-24 to the Police Department budget. I'm open to any questions or comments.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions, comments, or a motion?
Second.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
5B.
5B is approval of a purchase and sale agreement with LT Properties LP for the purchase of property located at 12966 Euclid Street. And Mr. Blodgett is here to give that report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. Tonight we have for your consideration approval of the purchase and sale agreement with LT Properties for purchase of 12966 Euclid Street. This property is located at the entrance to our Civic Center. It's a 5-story office building containing 64,000 square feet of rental space. The building was originally constructed in 1985. It also includes a parking lot with 160 stalls. The lot size is 2 acres in size, or 87,000 square feet. The basic terms and conditions of this agreement are a purchase price of $12.189 million with an initial deposit of $400,000. The closing will take place within 78 days of a due diligence period, or October 1st, 2023. City is going to retain a consultant to prepare due diligence inspections and reports identifying the building's condition and also environmental phase 1 analysis. In addition, the city will retain MB5 to prepare an ALTA and topographical surveys for the site. And also will retain fiscal advisors to review the documents and leases, income and expenses. City will be conducting due diligence work for the building and parking lot to determine cost to do improvements to the property. It is recommended that the City Council find that the acquisition of this property is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA guidelines, approve the purchase and sale agreement that's attached, authorize the city manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the city and make minor modifications as needed, and also approve additional appropriations in general fund in the amount of $12.189 million plus closing costs for acquisition of this property. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Greg. Colleagues, any questions or comments or a motion?
Mr. Mayor, just a quick question. If I remember right, we were going to get an updated report on internal conditions of the property, like the air conditioning and that kind of stuff. Did that ever come through?
Yeah, so through the due diligence period, we'll be conducting studies and reports probably within the first couple weeks to determine the cost and condition of the building, correct?
Yeah, Joe.
Once we get all of those data back, will we have a closed session to review it, or what happens after that?
If I may, Honorable Mayor, members of the council, if there's any significant deviation that affects the additional cost that's necessary to bring the building up to standards or any kind of upgrade or maintenance, we will certainly bring that information back to the council. If anything, if the outcome of the due diligence period and the information is routine, we will proceed with closing. That would be staff recommendation.
How hard would it be to back out? If we approve this today and we get reports of, let's say, major problems or whatever, it's going to significantly cost us a lot to bring things upgrade. How hard is it for us to back out of it if we're approving today?
The agreement does have provisions for backing out if there's a failure of conditions in the during the due diligence period. So it will depend on the particular item that's found.
Well, what's the definition of condition? I mean, $100,000 added cost to repair an air conditioning, does that rise to the level?
That would not rise to that level.
Yeah, see, that's what concerns me. That's what concerns me a lot. $100,000 might not seem a lot in a $12 million purchase, but, you know, for the taxpayers, in my mind, $100,000 is $100,000. So I'm not supportive of this tonight. I might be if I get all the information before we vote, but as of tonight, I can't support this.
I know we discussed this, but public notices, will that be sent out, and will the public have an opportunity to air any objections or grievances?
The public notice occurred when we publicized the notification for the meeting tonight, and the agenda was posted on Thursday. And so the action tonight would proceed with the recommendation of the purchase and sale agreement. Certainly, if there's council direction or guidance to provide a range of any deviation in a dollar threshold, we will certainly can bring that back to the council for additional direction if the council still wish to proceed as that as an option as well.
So let me confirm that we have not received any objections, and the public have had an opportunity. They've been notified through our normal channels,
That's
and
correct.
we have not received any objections. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
I would like to move this item. I'm very excited that we're moving forward with this very strategic acquisition of another building right in the core of our Civic Center downtown area that we're currently reimagining and building a new police headquarters and doing a lot of great things in this area. And it's great that we'll be able to control this building and this parking lot for all the future needs of the city. So that's a motion.
Second.
I'd like to make a quick comment before we vote. I too am excited about this proposal of obtaining this building. I think it's a necessary part of the bigger picture of what we're planning to do. I just don't agree with putting the cart before the horse. I think the public, we just went over the due diligence. We made the notification, and the public looks at that and they expect that we've done our job. And we've actually looked at all of this information, and we have had multiple discussions in closed session and whatnot, but we don't have all the information as of tonight. So I
Right.
get that, there might be one or two minor things. There might be a big issue. We don't know. And until we get that report, which we've asked for numerous times in closed session, and we'll get that before we vote. That was what we were told. Well, that's not what's happening here today. So I just want to make it clear. I am not against this project. I'm not against the purchase of this building. I think it's a great location for us and a great asset for our city. But I don't think we should buy something without knowing all the facts. And I'm just going to leave
Just
it there.
quick clarification question, Lisa or whoever. We're still currently in due diligence, correct? In the escrow?
That's correct.
Yeah,
So
okay.
entering into the purchase and sale agreement allows us a due diligence period of 78 days. And over the
Right.
course of the 78 days, we will be provided a full assessment of the entire building, and that process takes us that amount of time. If at any time during that process there are additional information that's come to light, as Mayor Pro Tem expressed, we will certainly come back to the council with that information.
Yeah, so just to clarify, your concerns are covered. You just need to understand the context of the timing and the process. So the,
That's
let
but
me
that's
go, let me go,
legal.
let me go.
So
The purchase and sale agreement that we're considering tonight, provisions for a due diligence period during which time we'll do all those extensive.
Right. but
And if
there-
anything comes to light, then of course we'll hear about it. They'll come back to us. This
It's legal-
isn't closing
legal-
escrow today, it's opening
Right.
escrow.
Oh, and I get
If-
that, but
in
as
that
legal
context.
counsel
I
told
do-
us, we can't back out for minor things, and a lot of little minor things could add up to a lot of money. And we don't know, because we don't have the report of all the things that could be wrong with the building. We've done walkthroughs and we've looked, and things look fairly good, but there could be major problems with elevators, air conditioning. We already know there's issues with the parking lot. We know, there's all kinds of, stuff that could come up, and in a building that is quite frankly that aged. I just think it's important that before we're kind of putting the cart before the horse, because we can't back out. Once we start down this track, and again, I don't think anything would come up. I'm not saying that there's any, but I just think we're failing in doing our due diligence on this project before we vote on it. And that's all.
I would just reiterate, you don't understand where we're at in the process. We're entering into a purchase sale agreement which provisions for a due diligence period during which time we can back out. And we're going
But
to be
only
doing
for
that study.
major issues. $100,000 here, a $50,000 here, $200,000 there. That is not enough for us to
So one of the
back out legally.
conditions, so one of the conditions as to the condition of the building is that the seller is selling it as is. Okay? So we are accepting the property as is. There are a few items that they are making warranties and representations, and we're confirming that those are true and correct. And if they are true and correct, then we have no ability to back out. But if they're not true and correct, then we have the ability to either choose to waive them or back out of the contract and not lose the deposit. And that's just a condition of the seller.
That's my whole point.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, John, and I'll follow
Oh, no,
you.
I was just gonna say, I've been in the building, and everything's, to me, seems to be working. We negotiated a great deal here, and it's a big asset to the city to have control of this corner. I belong to another group, and we recently bought a building in Santa Ana about this same price. And I really feel very comfortable with this negotiation and this price. I don't see any abnormal costs coming forward, and if they were, obviously you'd bring them forward. If there was substantial problems with the
Whatever. Yeah.
whatever they're warranting, the current warranties on the elevator or air conditioning or what have you, those warranties will stay in effect as long as we make sure that they're in good standing. So anyway, I just want to put it on the record that I'm in total favor of this. Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm going to try to help the process, and I understand what the mayor is saying, that we're not at the end of the process, we're just at the start of the process. So I'm understanding this starting the escrow process or open escrow. And I would like to see more documentation. If the escrow documents or the escrow disclosures are available, any of a number of council member should be able to get to look at them, me included. So send them over to my email, and any other council member, mayor wants it. I'm not fond of reading escrow documents, but I will want to look it over, just like I toured the building, like the rest of us did. And I am not saying there are hidden defects or hidden costs that may come out in the due diligence process, but indeed it can happen that way. And we will have a chance to quote unquote back out, but I want to see what those conditions are specifically. So if Mayor Pro Tem Brightingham wants to see those conditions, he should get them. Me too. I'm interested in seeing what are those conditions that we get to maybe renegotiate some terms. So if the defects are severe, and I mean more than 100,000 is a big deal, maybe less than that, we're giving the city manager the power to make executive decision on certain modifications. So I'm comfortable with that the city manager is going to do her due diligence. But I also agree with George that we have not seen any of the due diligence documents that I brought up during closed session and at the tours. So until we see that, I don't want to be jumping in feet first and finding out that we can't back out and now it's as is and we're stuck with another $300,000-400,000 in upgrades or cost. And I know from touring the building that there are a couple of floors that will need renovations. And a couple of those floors have been renovated. So we get the benefit of the renovations of the tenants who's been there, but we also have a liability on the floors where it's vacant that will need upgrades. So that's actually on Greg to come back with all those reports, and he's doing a great job. I like the outline of what you reported today, but I want to see the details of what we're going to get during the due diligence process, the 78 days. And specifically, the 78 days, when will we start getting reports during that 78 days? So we can have more discussions on it and act if there's something more serious than we anticipate that comes up. That's it.
Kim.
Thank you. 2 questions and a comment. First, after the due diligence process and we receive the reports, if there are findings or not, I'm certain that city staff will inform council and there's going to be another vote on the agenda to move forward, or is this one and done?
From my perspective, if there's anything major, we'll be reporting out to all the council. And if the direction is to report back in open session or in closed session, this is still a real estate transactions with this price and terms. I'll defer to the city attorney for that guidance, but our goal is anything significant that surfaces, we will be bringing that back to the council.
But also my 2-parter in that first question is, will this be agendized again? Or is this it?
So the recommendation is to approve the agreement, which means that if all the conditions are met, then we close escrow and you own the building.
Okay, that's fine by me.
But if there are any representations, for example, we do find hazardous waste, that is one of the items that would allow us to back out. And we would report that to council for direction whether you wish to back out or to waive it. We have that option.
My second question is, who owns the land of the property?
Currently, it's an LLC.
Oh, the property owner. For when we purchased the building, we purchased the land as well?
Correct.
So I think for me, I guess I'll be transparent to say I didn't tour the building. I didn't really care to, because for me, it's not about the building, it's about the land. If we had it my way and we had an infinite buckets of money, I would knock the whole thing down and start a whole revision. I think you guys have all heard me complain multiple times that I'm yet to see a master plan of what this whole entire space is going to look like. We've acquired additional properties, and I'm looking to the future as far as re-envisioning our city hall. I'd love to see our chambers as part of City Hall, like several other of the cities in Orange County. So for me, the building, I could care less. It's old and decrepit. It doesn't look great. It's eyesore, whatever. At some point in time, I'm thinking past this point, that value for that land to be part of everything we currently already own, to me, that's the savings here. And I think we need to reframe how we're thinking about this item, because the building may not be there by the time we're all turned out of this office. It's long goal projection and planning for the city to have land to expand. Because if you go to City Hall now, we're busting at the seams, just like police departments busting at the seams, and we're not going to decline in employment. The city is only going to continue to grow and have more, a higher population, especially as we're being forced to build an additional 19,000 units. We're going to need more staff. We're going to need more money. And I think we need to be thinking of the future and what that looks like. So for me, I don't even care about the building. I didn't care to go see it. For me, it's irrelevant. I mean, I'm only here one more year, but I think thinking ahead, what does this whole area look like? I'd love to leave the gift to the city to have that foresight to plan ahead in the future, that we have more land available for that. And so I would be very supportive of this item.
Right. Oh, Cindy, go ahead.
Yes, just to put on the record that I really support this project and I cannot wait to see it happen. I see the concern from Councilmember Choi. So I look at the contract, and they said in here that we actually have the time to do our diligent job. And if we make the notification before the deadline, the due diligence, the deposit shall be returned to the buyer. So then you actually have the time to do your work, your investigation. If you don't like it, you could always cancel, and the money go back to you.
Thank you, Cindy. I just want to go on record as saying I support this. I mean, we look at the downtown as a puzzle. This is a piece to that puzzle. It's good for us to acquire this. We don't know what could go in there potentially if we didn't own the property. At least we have some control over it. And I don't want to get all HGTV. I'm not a real estate agent, but I support it.
All right, I think
So,
I
Mayor,
made
just one quick clarification. I just want to make sure everybody knows, I am in support of the city taking over this building. I think the bigger picture, and like Councilwoman Nguyen said, the grand envisioning of what it's going to look like probably 20 years from now. Although you got to keep in mind, part of the offsetting cost of this is, probably the next 5-6 years, the rental income that the city generates will probably offset some of this cost. And, that's kind of planned in as well. But, I did tour the building, and I was not allowed to go up to the roof to inspect the roof or look at the roof. I was denied access to the air conditioning area, and that concerned me. And then in our previous meetings, we were told we would have all this information prior to voting. And here we are voting, and we still don't have the information. So that's my concern. I do agree with Councilman Nguyen. It's the land that we really are looking at. But for the taxpayers, that building is going to be generating revenue to offset the cost to them for the next 5 to 6 years. Nothing's going to happen in 5 to 6 years. I mean, we're looking at that police station getting built. We're looking at, other things. I just don't think that we'll be demoing out that building in the next year or two. It'll probably be there for at least 5-6 more years minimum. And with that being said, that's my only concern, is that we weren't given the documents, we weren't given the inspections, we weren't given even the ability during our tour to go look for ourselves. What's this look like? That gives me pause. That gives me pause. So, but I am in very, very much support of obtaining this building for the community. So, but with that being said, I am done.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to wrap up with a couple of comments because a lot of the public was not privy to our closed session, nor were they privy to the tour. So it's on us to do our due diligence as council members and mayor so that we're comfortable with the public, not just not objecting to the purchase, but also in support as we are enthusiastically. And I want the public to know that we did do a lot of due diligence. We've been in a couple of closed sessions, and we did get them to come off of their original offer price. So we did save a few hundred thousands already. So the number you see, 12,189,000, is significantly reduced from what was originally offered, factoring in for the parking lot renovations, but not factoring in for other cost of upgrading or fixes, which I agree with George that we are working with incomplete information. And we will have an opportunity to get more complete information, but as in any purchase, you will never get perfect or complete information. You have, as is, full disclosure and all these caveats of what to back out, but we are not interested in backing out. That's what I'm hearing. Now, if there's a deal breaker, we'll hit the brakes. And that now is on the city manager. And I trust her instincts as well as her intellect to parse out what's really important and bring it back to the council. And what we can live with and justify the purchase, not just to our constituents and public, but to future leadership, and they'll look back and say, yeah, they did a good job on that one. So that's what I am concerned about, but I will vote in support, trusting that our staff, including everybody who's here tonight, will be pulling through to make sure that if there's any liability in the purchase, that we can overcome that through our leadership and through our efforts collectively. So that's what I have to say for the public consumption more than it is for the people on the dais tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I made a motion. Was there a second?
Yeah, I second that.
Okay, I would like to call the vote.
Motion received. 6 yes votes with Mayor Pro Tem Brightingham voting no.
All righty, thank you. That takes us on to matters, and I'm going to start out with a little something, something. Huh? Oh, I was told the other way around. Which way you want to go? Okay. All righty, Mayor Pro Tem.
Sure. Just one quick thing. I want to give kudos to staff. 6-7 months ago, I was really hounding on our building inspection times. We were not so good. We were almost 2 months, 30 to 60 days to get a building inspector out for anything, costing our residents, our businesses, a lot of money in downtime. We got it down to 7 days after much harping, and I just want to officially announce that we are at 2 days now. We are no longer the worst city in Orange County. We actually are not even tied for that, because 3 days is the worst. So we're at 2 days now. So we've done, staff has done tremendous in overcoming that institutional failure. And that's what I called it, because, for decades, that was just accepted. Every other city could get it done in 2-3 days max, and we were still 30 to 60 days. So kudos for staff for resolving that for our community. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate the fire chief's point tonight on pool safety. It's very important. A lot of our homes in Garden Grove that have pools were built, before a lot of these rules were put in place that he described. So if your pool, if you exit your back of your house through multiple sliding doors or a back door, you may have free access to the back pool area. So if that's true, please consider either a fence or a cover in addition to that, or, lock those patio doors and those rear doors, to make sure that someone can't get in there, a child. But just wanted to reiterate that, because I have a pool and I'm very conscious of pool safety, and it's just tragic when something like that happens, and it happens at all ages. Like, I know a neighbor of mine had a woman that was 60 years old, just went for a swim one night and hit her head on the pool, and no one else was there, and that was the end of that. And so very important. And also, just to add to that, on the fire side is, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. They're very cheap and inexpensive, and you can install them yourself. There's a lot of nonprofit groups, and even the fire authority occasionally will get nonprofits and partner to install the fire smoke alarms. So please go check those tonight. Replace the batteries, get new ones. Carbon monoxide is very important. I'm sure all of you have heard of someone that passed away that because of there was a leaky water heater or what have you, and that's just horrible when you can buy a $20 item that will save your life. So that's it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I have a long list of events to attend. I just want to highlight a couple items. Just make me so excited and happy to live in Garden Grove City. So the first one is thanks to Council Member John O'Neill for inviting me to come to the Rancho High School ribbon cutting. And then after that, I actually represent our city for the Los Amigos High School ribbon cutting. Since I became a council member, this is the third one, and I just feel so excited. Like our Garden Grove school have so many of that opportunity, and I don't know how you got all those money just to make the change it, and just amazing. And right before this meeting, there was a resident that lived in the corner of like the border of Orange and Garden Grove, and he said that he paid tax and live in Garden Grove, but the school zone, the kids have to go to Orange. And I said, can you just ask the mayor and the council to see is there any way that the kid could go to Garden Grove school instead? And so that just gives you a testament just how great our city is. And then I attend the back to school backpack for Thomas Howe. It was just everybody there was so nice, and I get to talk to the resident there, and it made me so excited. Just the feeling being among them, and so I cannot wait to come back and bring more things to share with people around there. And Janet Nguyen, Senator, had the same event with Boy and Girl Club backpack event. I went there, and most of the event I brought a backpack to donate to. So I also have about 100 backpacks that I'm going to donate to Boy and Girl Club in Garden Grove. So any of the city council members here would like to join, I know that Councilman Stephanie mentioned about she would be excited to come and give out those backpacks to the students. So we're going to try to do maybe sometime next week. Next, I went to the Garden Grove Fire Department Historical Society event. I have been there before. This time not just learn about the history of the city, but also I got to talk to the people there. Being council member is different, right? And so they mentioned about that in the past, the first firefighter truck was in the parade, but now that they cannot do that anymore because they need the support from the firefighter department and the council member to help with making that connection. So they want me to bring it back to the staff. So we'll talk to the city manager and firefighter department, see what can we do there. A big applause to the firefighter department and the police for the National Night Out. It was amazing. I got to talk to the resident, but also learning how to do little things with the kid, learning how to do the CPR and get a certificate. So the kids were excited about that. So just want to give a kudos to the two department for a great job. And last but not least, I got two business owner to join the Chamber of Commerce. So both of these business are in my district. One is the Lucky Seafood supermarket. They actually gonna do grand opening this Saturday, and they would like to invite the mayor, council members, staff, and any resident to come. They're gonna give out stuff, but they would like to have the council member to come. They just told me right before this meeting, so he was planning to come, but he couldn't come. And the last one is another restaurant that the UNI Japanese sushi. They do similar thing, and this is the first time they join the Chamber of Commerce, and they're gonna have some kind of ribbon too, and they would like to invite everyone, not just the council, the staff, but also the resident. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Jodovin.
I promise not to speak too much tonight, but I'm going to break that promise. But I'll try to keep to my 3 minutes anyway. First, I want to speak a little bit to what George raised, which was we have significantly cut down our wait time for inspection. And again, kudos to our staff. And I'm going to name names. I think Chief Building Officer Dave Dent has done a great job. I want to fill you in that we lost several key staff due to retirement, and they've moved on to other cities. And during the last year, we saw the retirement of a building supervisor. We've seen we've lost a senior inspector. We've also lost a senior planner. So we've lost several key positions, and David was really struggling to restaff with the high quality people, which we are doing, and we brought on a couple of new inspectors, and that has significantly cut down the wait time. So that's good news. I also want to welcome Nikki Wessel, our new director in the community director, and that's going to significantly help boost our agendas, including any of and all of the development projects that we've heard tonight, and that's pending and ongoing. So a warm welcome to Nikki, and thank her for bringing her family, and we are going to count on her to carry a lot of our projects. And we will also be bringing on new directors in other positions, which I remind the city manager from day one, I want internal promotions to look at the resources that we already have and give them a first shot at these positions, because I don't want anyone to feel passed over or that they didn't get the promotions they deserve. But then we also voted in the last meeting to take care of our employees and our staff so that they're not behind due to inflation and so on, that they get the pay that they deserve. I also want to thank Mayor Pro Tem for coming on my show. We had a great talk. It's still online. We can share that with everybody. And I want to remind people that the Strawberry Zest project is due to be inaugurated very soon in September, right? And we're still taking donations. So shout out to that project, Strawberry Zest, which have seen a lot of support and which I support. I just haven't found the funds to donate just yet, but maybe I'll come through on that too. But as a reminder, thank you to everybody who's donated to that project, and we can still keep supporting it well into the time when it's inaugurated. So I want to remind you that the Strawberry Zest project I support, and I will donate. It's just I got to talk to Dina, my boss, first. She was here the last meeting, and I didn't talk so much that time. And also, we have more guests coming on my show, the Be Well OC. We're going to bring in on Mr. Tam Nguyen, and I've already made contact with him. We've already shared a lot of information, so that's another way that we can reach out to our community and raise the profile of the services we are offering. Last week, I had Sergeant Jeff Brown, and I thank him. He was also here tonight providing some security for us. And I take comfort in that because Sergeant Jeff Brown and his special response team has been very helpful to the community. I've heard good feedback. I patronize a lot of businesses here, and we're having constant issues with transients and some petty crimes really. But the police are not there to arrest. They're there to help people move along, take them to the services they need. So I remind our residents and our businesses that there's a phone number you can call. It's not 911, it's 714-741-5704. And I have permission to give out that number, I think, 741-5704 to all residents and businesses who require the assistance of our special response team to call that number. And we'll have a dispatch officer there to help with any situation that people are having concerns with. So I want our residents and businesses to know that. I'm going to repeat it again, 741-5704. And I've been giving that number out a lot to businesses and residents who have issues. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to a new business coming into town, our town, and that's La Pearl Dental, LAPEARL Dental. It's right on Garden Grove, right by some of our new developments that's coming up there. And they're inviting the whole city council to their ribbon cutting. So also when it happens any day now. So I'm very happy that Cindy shared all these events she's going through and doing the ribbon cuttings. I actually did one with Cindy. So that was a lot of fun. And hopefully we can meet each other out on these new businesses as they come into our city and take up residents and providing services to everyone. And so La Pearl Dental, congratulations. Thank you. That's it for me.
Stephanie.
Yeah, I just want to make mention of yesterday. Tragically, we lost a member of our Garden Grove family. I just want to offer my deepest condolences to Corporal Cho's family and all of those in the Garden Grove Police Department, as well as anyone that called him a friend or knew and loved him. It's a very dark day for our city, and my prayers are with his family and everyone at this time. Thank you.
Alrighty then. So, tonight, City Council and I would like to congratulate Councilwoman Kim Nguyen and her partner David Penalosa on some very, very happy news. Kim, we've taken this opportunity to vote on whether you and David will be having a little baby boy or a sweet baby girl. The results have been tabulated, and most of us think you are having except I can't even see it. Looks like. Okay. Looks like most of us.
10
yeah.
and a half girl
and one right on the middle line. Yep. So on that note, I would like to turn matters over to Kim for her big reveal.
First, I would like to thank Maria and Terry so much, Assistant City Manager and City Clerk, for their assistance in helping make this announcement very special. I believe this is the first Gigi baby on the dais, so I'm very happy to announce that we are having a baby girl.
I was thinking you should probably thank David too, because none of this really could have happened, of course, without him.
So thank you again, everyone. We're very excited, and we will be expecting our little bundle of joy in early January.
Awesome! Congratulations. All right, City Manager Lisa Kim.
Congratulations, Councilmember Kim Nguyen and Councilmember David Penalosa, and on your wonderful bundle of joy. We look forward to meeting Baby Pink in the very near future. And also want to lastly also express my condolences to the Cho family for the loss. And Corporal Cho was a respected 28-year veteran of the Garden Grove Police Department who served this community with loyalty and dedication, and definitely a great loss for our community, and our deepest condolences to his family. So thank you.
Thank you. General Counsel, any need for closed session or anything to report out?
No, we have nothing tonight. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. And with that, we will stand adjourned. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you again real soon.